Hey everyone, the numbers are in for August 2025 in the Panama City Beach real estate market. I'm Craig Duran with the Duran Group over at Berkshire Hathaway HomeServices. Last month, the Wall Street Journal actually reached out to me. They're working on an article for about the luxury market, the emerging luxury market in Panama City Beach. And so I took a lot of time slicing and dicing the data a little bit to go a little deeper into some things. And so this update will be a little bit different. I'm going to go through the detached single family market. I'm going to go through the detached single family market also and look at prices over $1 million. And we're going to break that down to see over $1 million if short-term rentals are allowed, or over $1 million if short-term rentals are not allowed. And the idea here is to look at, try to understand the differences in the types of properties, like it sounds, that are more vacation rentals, and then maybe something that's a little more primary residential. We'll also go ahead and look at the Gulf front condo market. In this video, I'm going to divide that between the condos built before 2005 and the wave of condos built after 2005. So see if we can see any differences there. And then also look at the Gulf front detached single family market. I'm going to go through a lot of data very quickly. I just want to give you some numbers. We'll look at months of inventory for each one of those categories. We'll look at price trends, see where prices are going. We'll look at days on market. Is days on market for each one of those going up or down? And maybe even glance at sales price to list price. What's happening there? I think a lot of this helps us understand the market of each one of those anymore. So if you're buying or selling, or thinking about buying or selling, hopefully this gives you some information to help you if you're selling. It can help you with pricing strategies. It can help you if you're in a negotiation. If you're buying, this can help you make some decisions there. So let's start with the detached single family market. We'll start with months of inventory. For those of you who haven't seen these videos before, months of inventory is a very simplistic way for us to look at how hot or cold a market is. You've heard about buyer's market, you've heard seller's market, you've heard hot market, all those terms. Theoretically, for decades in real estate, 5 or 6 months of inventory has represented a neutral, balanced market in real estate. In other words, whatever it is that we're comparing, in this case, it's detached single families on the beach, anywhere in Panama City Beach. 5 or 6 months of inventory would be neutral. It would take us about 5 or 6 months to sell through everything that's for sale if things are normal, if there is such a thing. If the number's lower, things are hotter, things are selling faster, it's more of a seller's market. If the number is higher than 5 or 6 months, it normally symbolizes a slower market, things are taking longer to sell, buyer market. So the more you can start, when you look at these numbers over and over again, you start to compare and see what is a little bit slow, what is a lot slow, what is a little bit hot, what is a lot hot, that kind of thing. So we'll look at months of inventory first. Detached single family market generally across the beach. In August of 2023, 2 years ago, we were at 4.16 months of inventory, so a slight seller's market there. You can see we've slowed down consistently. By January of this year, we were at 12.83. That's a very, very soft market. The market's actually gotten better for detached single family as a whole on the beach. We were at about 7.54 months of inventory in August, which is a little bit soft when you look at it overall. When you look at days on market, this can tell us a few more things. The average days on market right now is 77. The median days on market right now is 48. When you look at price trends, when we just look at sold average sales price, let's start with that. The average sales price for a house in Panama City Beach in August of 2023 was $701,000. The average sales price in August of 2025 was $726,000. An easy way to interpret that is that there has been some depreciation. Prices have come down, very simply. The median sales price has gone from $515 up to $525. So if you understand the differences between median and average, that's a little bit of an interesting story there. If we look at, and volume tells us something about the market too. So volume is how much real estate is being sold month by month by month by month. This is going to probably tell the biggest story of them all. Going back to August of 2023, we sold $69 million worth of real estate in Panama City Beach in August of 2023. January of 2024, a lot lighter, $28 million months of $28 million worth of inventory, which makes sense, $28 million worth of volume, because this is right after the holidays. Usually we write fewer contracts in the holidays. Same thing here, January, again, lower, $26 million worth of inventory. August of this year, July of this year, $48 million of inventory, $49 million of inventory. So from 2 years ago, 70 to now down 50. What is that number? 20, we're about 30%, not quite 30%. We're selling 30% fewer homes by volume in July and August of this year. This is where it gets a little bit interesting too. So now we're going to look at homes that are priced over $1 million, where short-term rentals are allowed. So this is going to be more of our vacation rental type properties. In August of 2 years ago, the months of inventory is at 7.4. You can see there's a very, very clear slowdown in this market. We're hovering around 17 months of inventory right now. That is an extremely, extremely soft market, very much buyer market territory. If we look at days on market, not surprising, the average days on market has gone up from 73 to 164. The median days on market has gone from 39 up to 159. Pricing trends have gone, the average sales price has gone from 2 million down to almost 3 million in August. The average sales price, that was the average sales price. The median sales price has moved down from 1.4 million to 1.447, maybe 1.45 to 1.2 million. So in this market, we see months of inventory going up, things are getting slower, it's taking longer to sell, pricing is coming down, and volume. We were selling about $20 million worth of these type of houses in August of 2023. We're now per month. We're now selling about 7.7 million in August. So we're not even selling half as many of these. More ways that you can see a little bit of a slowdown in that market. Now let's look at homes priced over $1 million where short-term rentals are not allowed. So this is going to be more like communities like the Preserve, certain sections of Panama City Beach where the zoning does not allow for short-term rentals. Months of inventory, because there are a lot fewer sections in Panama City Beach where short-term rentals are not allowed. We're dealing with smaller and smaller amount of data, so this data is going to bounce around a little bit. But August of 2023, we were about a neutral market, 6.67. July, we were slow, coming off a very slow 24 months of inventory down to 12. Actually, a little bit of a seller's market in August in this price point, or in this kind of market. Days on market here, the average days on market was at 170. It's bounced around quite a bit. It's a little better. It's at 148 months of inventory. The median days on market was at 115. It's a little better. 95 days on market. So if you have primary residential, you're selling a little bit different story than the vacation rental. Price trends could be interesting. The average sales price was at 1.43 in August. We have seen some depreciation in this market. 1.124 is the average. The median sales price, 1.26. Median sales price now 1.102. So some depreciation there, maybe not as much as in the vacation rental market. Volume is probably very interesting here. This is surprised me, actually. It's the first time I've seen this. So 4.2 4.29 million months of, $4.2 million, almost $4.3 million worth of this type of home sold in August of 2023. August of this year, 6.7 million. So, more primary residential is sold. It's bounced around a little bit this year. You can see January, February, March, very slow. 0 homes sold for 3 months. We had a little bit more. This is one house that sold in August. This represents a couple of homes, probably maybe 3. This is probably 1 home selling in June, maybe 2 homes selling in July. So this is probably 4-ish, maybe 5 homes that sold in August. So good month of August for that market. Switching gears a little bit, Gulffront condo market. This is everything built up until through 2004. So I would say some of the older buildings in Panama City Beach. This month's of inventory was an extremely hot market. Look at the differences here when you compare months of inventory in the Gulffront condo market to housing. 1.92 months of inventory August of 2023 in the older buildings. We were coming out of a scorching hot condo market. You can see we've continually slowed down in that market. It's pretty dramatic. We're right now at 12.86 months of inventory here, which means, we're 6 times slower than we were 2 years ago. Days on market, the average days on market has moved up from 48 to about 109. The median days on market who's moved up from 25 to 70. Pricing trends, the average sales price has moved down from 578, had gotten all the way down to 400. That's spiked to 592. We probably had a couple of expensive sales in August. Not a bad thing if you're a seller hoping for higher numbers. Sold median sales price $530,000 back in August of 2023, down to 420. I imagine this may be an outlier. Don't get too excited by this, especially when you see months of inventory continuing to slow down. When you look at volume, this tells a lot of story here too. Look how many condos we were selling August of 2023. We sold $21 million worth of condos in a month. Sold $13 million worth of condos in August of 2025 in the older buildings. Compare that to the newer buildings, months of inventory, similar story, screaming up from a seller's market of 3.05 months of inventory up to 16.68 months of inventory. So surprisingly, even slower in the newer buildings. A lot of this could be dominated. There are a lot of units for sale on the shores of Panama, which is a newer building. It's going to be skewing this a little bit. Days on market, not surprising. Days on market, the average has moved up from 60 to only 95, but look at it, it touched on 185, 197 recently. The median days on market was at 46 up to 91 days on market. Price trends, the average sales price for a newer condo has gone from 638 to 545. The median sales price has moved from 557 to 555. Pretty interesting. In the newer buildings, we're selling, it's recovered just to about the same in the median number, even though you still see depreciation in the average sales price. Volume, probably similar story here. $12.7 million worth of sales in August of 2023, off to about $10.3 million. So newer buildings still selling a little bit more than the older buildings. Probably not as much of a fall off there. That market's recovered pretty well. You can see over the last year, there have been more sales in those buildings. I wonder if structural integrity reserve studies, milestone inspection reports, some of those things probably help this market a little more than the other. When we look at months of inventory for the Gulffront detached single family market. Now this, of course, there's even less data we're looking at, very few units, but we try to pick up some trends to see how things are looking. This is pretty clear. A couple things to note. We were at 4 months of inventory in August. of 2 years ago. Now we're at 25. What is that? Over 6 times slower in the Gulf front housing market than we were in August of last year. All these holes in the chart means we didn't even have a sale to pick up to register any data. So that market's still showing signs of slowing down. Days on market. This is pretty interesting. I mean, we were selling very quickly, 17 days, 23 days back here. The 0 is some pre-construction. 17 days, 23 days. Only 157 days there for a recent sale. This was 404 days here. The median days on market up again from 17, 23 to about 157 days on the market. Price trends, the average sales price, this is going to bounce around a lot because this includes newer and older product. I probably should break this down next month and do it by age. So 3.795 million down to 1.65, but that's not representing depreciation. This is a tear down potentially versus some new construction. So this is I'll rework that for the next video. Volume will tell us quite a bit. We had $4 million in sales in August of 2 years ago. We had $20 million in closings in December of 2023. We've seen some spikes here and there. This will be like a $6.25 million sale. This is just one sale, probably a couple sales here last year in August. A couple sales here in April of this year. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Look at all the zeros in the Gulf front detached single family market. Look at all these months of 0 sales. And we had one sale at 1.65 recently. So a lot of information. I know a lot of you who are tracking specific neighborhoods or condo projects are already receiving information for those specific neighborhoods and condo projects. We have this e-alert system. So if you really want to keep track of any individual section of the beach, price point, product, do you want to follow condos? Do you want to follow homes, Gulf front condos, non-Gulf front condos? I mean, if you only want to track a particular neighborhood, Bay Point, Preserve, Breakfast Point, some of the new ones, Breakwater. Do you want to follow any specific condo building? I can set you up so you automatically receive some information to your email, and you can either get it as frequently or infrequently as you want. You can get it right away anytime something happens, or like once every 30 days just to keep track of the market. So what this will show you is something comes up for sale, changes price, goes pending, or sells, the system will just send you an email, kind of let you keep track of anything you want to keep track of. I really, this is, in 22 years of selling real estate, it's probably my favorite piece of software I've ever seen to help the average consumer who's not in the real estate business really keep track of real pricing. It pulls data straight from our MLS system. It feeds it into a really nice presentation. It really looks great on the phone. So if you're just scanning through when you're drinking your coffee in the morning, you can see quickly, oh, what's sold, what came up for sale, quick look at the pictures if you want to, and then move on. So it's a really nice way to keep up with the market, especially everything that we're seeing happening here. So I hope this gives you some information. If you're thinking of buying, you're thinking of selling, it's important, I think, to really start with that data. When I'm helping individual buyers and sellers, we get even more specific than that, and help you strategize. So I hope this helps. If you have any questions on this, give me a call, shoot me a text, 850-290-0417. Again, I'm Craig Duran with the Duran Group at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. Thanks for watching.